Alright, time for recap. I found a schematic, or I downloaded a high-resolution version of the riders, and this is the highest resolution I was able to get for the schematic, even though it's still not great, as you can see. I have some random capacitors over there, and just going to tack them in because I don't want any of these papers shorting on me. I think I said it before, but I've tried before to just get the ones that only do high voltage, and it did not end well. It still ended up shorting out. So we're going to recap this. I won't make you suffer through watching that. Everyone's seen a recap. I might shoot like a time lapse or something, but that's it. And we'll come back and test this on the bulb. Okay, tack job complete. It's a mess, but it's tacked in now. And also, no, I am not going to stop the fan because, yeah. So let me bring out to the edge of the screen the dim bulb. Let's take out the 200-watt bulb for what I was using before. Let's start with a 40. Especially because this thing doesn't have its ballast tube. Also, I'm definitely not going to be bypassing on this cord. Okay, so that's off, so we can make sure there's no shorts. Good. Okay. That off so we can see the bulb. Okay. See how much we're getting. A little bit of glowage. There's hum from the speaker. In fact, I can hear some scratching in here. One second. I need to put a alligator clip on this guy at some point. In fact, let's do that now. Okay, now we have an actual clip lead that I can clip onto. One of these is the antenna lead. That's a ground, so this must be our antenna. Let's go back to bulb and hook up the antenna. And this feels very smooth, so it may have been sprayed. Okay, I can hear the hum again. Oh! You hear that? It's the clicking from my soldering iron. Oh. Is it on the wrong band? Can you hear that? The dial string on this is bad, so let me put it on its side, making sure that none of the caps get moved out of the way, and I can turn the disc. Got something. Let me go up to a 60. Okay. Well, we're working. Sort of. Okay, maybe that does need to be sprayed. Okay, I'm going to temporarily go bypass. Switch to shortwave and see if anything happens. Okay, I think that I just can't do it because there's no there's no string on it, so I can't tune it very finely. What I'm going to try to do next is this bias battery here is gonna be dead. So, in fact, I did not realize you could even just pop it out like that. Yeah, we can even measure it if we wanted to, although we know it's gonna be dead. Yeah, nothing. So this is dead, and that is supposed to go right here. It says R7 is a 1 meg. I've read up on how you can change this. You can put a like a 10 meg across there, and it will do the same thing. So where are my 10 megs? Let's just tack this as well. There. Let's see what that does. We get actual full volume range now with that in, so.
Just because he's on a team that loves to run the football.
So all of our tubes are good, all of our circuits are good. Let's try generating a signal at like 7 megahertz. So the shortwave band works. We're doing very good here. So now that we know it all works, what I'm going to do is actually mount all the capacitors correctly. That'll take probably the rest of the day. And then we can get to starting to clean this a little bit. And what I think I'm going to do for this tube here is, so it calls for a 2BG ballast tube, which I looked it up, seems to have only ever been used on this exact radio. And there's like only a single like antique radio forum post on it and nothing else. So I believe the rating of it was 2 volts drop and like 400 milliamps, I think. Let me look it up. Here we go. We got 2BG tube here. me... A 2BG tube here, 4 volts, 300 milliamps. And only thing it lists is Air King radio. And there's a rider's reference to that thing. But what I saw here was the 3-4 tube, 4 to 8 volts and 300 milliamps. And you notice this whole base type here, that refers to... there's a list here of all the different pinouts here. So 22 is that, where it goes between pins 2 and 7 of an octal tube. The 2BG one has none of these listed, but we can imagine it was between, what is this, pins 7 and 8 on here. So what I might do is get that 3-4 tube, because you can get them for like less than $10 each, and just move this to pin 2 here, and then we'll have the correct ballast. But yeah, for now I'm going to complete the recap job, and then we can move on to resistors. Okay, I just found something out. I had wired up one of these wrong. The field coil and the heater wire here are both supposed to be on the positive of the capacitor, and then the negative just goes to the chassis. Same with this one. I had wired the negative to the field coil and the positive to here, which is wrong. So now it's actually out of circuit. I replaced the power cord with just some line cord here, not lamp cord. So now we can move the bulb back into frame here, and we'll just stuff the wires in the holes here. Don't do this at home. There. So let's see what it does. Let's actually also have some meters. Yes, I have 2 of these. One of them is 27, one of them is 27 FM. So now I can flip it back on, and that sounds a lot cleaner, actually. Let's go bypass for a second. Okay, so our rectified voltage is coming in at just about 240, and our B plus is 184. With the 60 watt bulb, that's dropping us down to 120. So luckily, this is all correct. And I can continue. Here's your little time to see the status of where it all is. Put a terminal strip here. I'm going to put one here as well. Where is it? I was going to take a terminal that had one of them bent and stick it onto here to make it a thing, but now I'm not sure. So anyway, I'll cut to when I'm done. Okay, actually, going freehand for a second. Fixing that actually makes it sound a lot better. And more importantly, I can actually tune some things in on shortwave. Well, it's very quiet on the low end. This will have to be aligned. Like we didn't already know that. And one last thing, like we mentioned, the dial string is gone. There's a rubber band here, but also there should be a little like curvy thing on here to keep the string from slipping out. That's missing, so we're gonna have to find something to do with this. I might like cut a channel in here, but unless I can find something that will slip onto there, then yeah, I'm not sure what I'll do. Okay, most of the way done here. I have 2 left here, as well as removing some of the wires here. There are also a few of these bed resistors that need to be replaced. I put a black dot on them. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Surprisingly, this big guy here was dead on accurate. It's supposed to be 35K. It was exactly 35K. And my soldering iron is beeping, and we'll have to shut it off anyway for the demonstration. So, lights out again. Okay, maybe that should stay on, and we'll turn on the bulb. Not exactly sure what that is. There's no antenna connected. Here's our antenna wire. There's a chance that's being caused by something around here. In fact, okay, it was charging brick.
It was one of the original pocket rockets. And my relay system. How's the mileage? Good mileage?
Dozens of Luigi Mangione supporters camped out across the street from Federal.
Let's try shortwave.
Medicine is bad. I want to tackle one last objection that I've gotten in general.
Low-cost airline Wizz Air launched a new...
The reason I'm looking for this is I heard that tonight WRMI, their 9955 transmitter, is doing a Voice of Shortwave Radio show.
With kindness in my heart, it needs to be said.
Let's try doing this. Because I have no clue where the dial is tracking on this, let's set it exactly. I think they leave their transmitter off right now. I'm not sure. I mean, that's definitely it, though. In fact, it's tracking pretty much at 10 there, so the dial tracking may not need much adjustment. We'll do that later tonight. It is currently only 11:30, so still have a half hour more to go of recapping, because there's only 2 left now. I might as well get it done, and then, yeah. Well, I've somehow turned it into a noisemaker. Let's look at the picture and see what I did wrong. Okay, I think I found the problem right here. I'd accidentally put this capacitor on this tab and not that one on the back of this one here, I could see where I had tacked it on before, so I think that's what it was. So let's give it a try. See if we still have a noisemaker or a radio. Yes, we now have a radio.
Time. So, when judgment finally comes, it comes swiftly. And that's what the end of it...
It's a different story, and that's where the SDR comes in. So don't be afraid to Google SDR radio.
There's our shortwave, or voice of shortwave broadcast.
And do it at different times, because of course, different things being broadcast during different times. And if you're someone in the
Let's listen in.
U.S. or on the west coast of the U.S., and you want to find out what they're listening to in Europe, go ahead and pick an SDR over there, and you'll check it out. And you can do the same as you do on the original radio. You can just be turning the dial and scanning the frequencies and see what you come up with. Really interesting.
In fact, actually, let me get my iTube. I think I mentioned before that a 6E5 was in it when it's supposed to have a 6U5. This one's virtually dead, but... Okay, I had to move to a 75-watt bulb just to get any visible eye opening.
Let everybody know that, yeah, I was out of commission there for a while.
Let me
And,
get the camera pointed at it. There, you can see a little bit there.
.27 is actually the...
I remember when they came out in the mid-90s.
It's incredibly dim, just because that one is dead, and I just don't have spare eye tubes laying around. I will have one soon because I recently got this big guy, which has a good eye tube. It's a bit weak. It's not super bright, but it works. Once I get a replacement eye tube for this, I'll have the old one to use for testing. I put in the 6E5, which only uses 5 volts or so for its grid, versus the 6U5, which I believe is like 20. You can see it closes a lot. You see here, on AM it just is almost completely closed. On the other radio that I just showed you that I just restored, when I tried this in it, it would close the eye so much you could see the two beams overlap. So, anyway, I think we're done here for tonight. It's past midnight. I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to have to see you guys in a couple weeks because, as you can see here, it's the middle of June, and this footage was shot in late April. Unfortunately, over the past month or so, I've had a lot of things come up in my personal life, which has made this video take a back seat. It's finally done, though, so I hope you'd enjoyed it. Stay tuned for part 3, where we take a look at the physical chassis restoration, things like the tuning condenser, and possibly also the alignment, although that might have to be broken out into its own video. Either way, thanks for watching, I hope you liked it, and have a good night.